Questions et commentaires. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I listened with great interest to my honourable colleague, and he covered a lot of ground. But I'd like to go back to the beginning of his speech, where he actually referenced the Princess Patricia Light Infantry. And I'm not sure if my honourable colleague's aware, but the very first soldier who stepped in France from Canada came from the Princess Pats, because they were the first to go over at the end of 1914. And the first person to step off with the Canadians in France then was Jack Munroe, who had fought Jack Johnson, Jim Jeffries, heavyweight champions of the world, who was famous in Butte, Montana. The Speaker's probably aware of Jack Munroe because he was very famous in Cobalt, where I come from, with the Silver Rush, was well known around the world, and went and represented Canada. So given the storied past of the Princess Pats and the feelings in our region are very strong towards him because of this connection to Jack Munroe and the soldiers who went over, I'd like to ask my honourable colleague if he has anything else he thinks it's really important that we should add about the role of that storied regiment in Canada's life.
Honourable member for Brandon Souris.
Well, I certainly want to thank my honourable colleague for the opportunity to enlighten on that whole situation. I was not aware personally that Mr. Munroe was the first person to set foot on the soil in those times, but I appreciate my honourable colleague for bringing that forward. 2nd Battalion Princess Patricia Pats, Patricia's Light Infantry, Canadian Light Infantry, has been an integral part of our Canadian military throughout its existence, Mr. Speaker, and we are extremely proud to be able to have it as part of our base in Shiloh, the Canadian Armed Forces base in Shiloh, which is, as mentioned, is extremely integral to the life and part of the community, not just in Brandon and Shiloh, which is about 20 miles east of Brandon, but our whole rural area around that community as well.
Questions and comments. The honourable